Yeah, let's go, guys. Okay, welcome to the BIM one-on-one. In this case, Revit versus ArchiCAD. This event is expected for a little time. Here we have the event sponsored by BIM Week and BIM Campus as the whole series of BIM one-on-one. And Decio Ferreira, hello Decio, architect, urbanist, technologist, senior BIM manager, associate at Foster and Partners in UK and all over the world, as I must say. A speaker at Autodesk University, one of the most recognized experts in Autodesk BIM solutions. And Claudio Lima, well known, hello Claudio, architect, urbanist and technologist, senior BIM manager, architect and partners or Arpador in Porto, one of the most recognized experts in ArchiCAD in the world. So, guys, we start the event right now with the part of the 4 blocks. The first block is BIM performance, technology, automation, and maintenance. And the first question is about the architecture. And right here, we have 2 systems that are quite similar, at least in the appearance. Okay, let's go with Decio, that is the first in this event, Revit, but we change this matter for starting with both Revit and ArchiCAD. Okay, that's the whole point. And you decide, guys. We open the discussion. Okay. And architecture, which is the architecture of Revit, Decio?
So, Gustavo, thanks for inviting me to this event again. Claudio, nice to see you here to discuss about, it's not kind of, comparing ArchiCAD and Revit, but it's more like discussing methodologies and workflows and, these kind of things. So, going to your question, Gustavo, which is, a good one regarding, the architecture of the software and how we can deal and work with the software on a project basis. So, Revit, and I would say the Autodesk itself, with all this, softwares and cloud-based platforms and whatever that they have in place, Autodesk is quite prepared to work in small projects, big projects, medium projects, working with small teams, like only one person up to, like 10 to 20, doesn't matter. Depends how you are going to manage all your projects. So from that perspective, I would say that, Revit, it's well done and well prepared to work in any matter, depending of the project size and everything. So because you can use Revit on a work sharing, like environment, like Revit as a normal usage, I would say it's only to be working one single user, like only one person can work with a file. Or if you are on a work sharing, you can have more than one user working in the same file, for sure in the same project. And those users can be in the same, location, the same office, working in the same network, or working, in 2 different, points, let's call this way, worldwide, like one in Europe, another one in the US, or another one in the
part of collaboration.
Exactly. So we don't need to be like in the same place, but we can be all over the place. And even again, Autodesk, they have, a few couple of, well, at least 2 different solutions for us to work worldwide, apart from working in our premises as well.
Okay, but with one file, really, we are in a system that works itself. System. You talk about software. You know that my position is about systems. We are talking about systems,
yes.
Are
but
designing.
Again, because again, this is, as I was saying, if it's a small project, I would say, and in this case, what I'm saying, a small project and one file, I'm always talking one file for architecture, one file for structure, one file, I would say, per each discipline, no matter which software we are working, like I think it's not a matter of software, it's a matter of ownership of the discipline, the elements. So all of these disciplines should have always one single file. But what I'm saying is, yes, we can work with one single file, myself and no one else can edit at the same time, or we can use Revit as a multi-user system where we can, we can work together with more than one user.
Quite interesting, because seems to be flexible, and this is not, is multi-file or only one file.
Yeah,
you can, as a BIM manager, create.
Yes.
That's the
and the good thing, even though working as a BIM coordinator, BIM manager or coordinator or whatever, or even as a client, if you are using, for example, some of the online platforms, you can even go there, click with the click of a button, you can see exactly what is in there, when was the last information which was shared across all the teams. So there's always, like, you can go through the process, no matter if you're a BIM manager, BIM coordinator, team member, architect, client, consultant, whatever.
Okay, Claudio, your turn.
Hello, Gustavo. Thank you.
We are talking about, really, guys, we are talking about the architecture of the system itself. You have your ArchiCAD or your Revit is mine, and how it works. But then we go to the collaboration in the second block, okay? No problem.
Okay. So ArchiCAD is a one file system. You can use it as a solo project. You can use it sharing projects. And basically, also you have a BIM cloud, and you can share all over the world or just in your office. So it's just one file. You can do pretty much everything.
Okay, we are comparing. Quite interesting thing is the bottom-up BIM solutions that comes more from the personal computer world, and Macintosh or whatever. Is going to the one file, but there is some cases for the sharing. Now the system is one file, and we are comparing something that be quite similar, but let's see if the systems are different for different occasions. Because Decio talks about the large project, large and little projects. Claudio, so the same for
the same. You can also split the file and relink it with, for example, you can have a file where you have a 3D model, and the external file you can have the layouts. But it's a huge. We are talking about files more than 4 gigabytes, 4,000 gigabytes. So till then, you can work with ArchiCAD with no problem. 2,000 giga, no problem. So it works fine.
Let's talk about the performance. We do that. In this block starts Decio, and the other block of collaborations, you start. You go first, okay? Decio, the performance.
Yeah, regarding performance, Revit is a quite demanding software. So you need to have like a proper software, even though, if you are working with a cloud-based platform, you need to have like a very good internet connection. So you need to have like a proper one with a proper graphic cards for you to work with. So if you have all these tools with you, it doesn't need to be like the very top one, but depending of the file size, not the file size, the project size and the complexity of the, the shapes and everything, depending how demand is your project itself, you might need to have like a super higher, like more capable computer, like desktop or whatever. But again, it works fine, but still you need to be aware, like, exactly which computer you need to use, because not all the tools or not all the tasks, let's call this way, works with multi-core, for example. It doesn't matter if it's 2, 4, 6, whatever, but not all of the tasks works with a multi-core system. So that is, even if you have a super higher top, it doesn't mean that you will be working with with everything in a single project. So you need to be aware all of this, what you can achieve with your computer. And again, apart from that one, you can work big projects, small projects, super high projects. You can break down in small pieces the project. Again, it's not a matter, as Claudio was saying, from my experience, not a matter of file size. It's a matter of team organization and project wide, the way that you want to put things together. Because again, I'm more concerned is if I have like 5 or 10 people working the same file, rather than having a file with 1 gigabyte or 500 megabytes or whatever. But again, regarding performance, yes, you need to have, but you need to make sure that you are doing things in the proper way with the proper tools and everything. Apart from that one, you don't need to be concerned with anything.
And you say in other occasions that skills are important for the
Yeah,
performance, but
for
the
sure.
performance is obtained with these skills.
Yes.
We are confirming the market all over here. In the market, there is a lot of profiles seeing this video and saying we have problems with Revit. No, you have the right skills. That's
yes, exactly. I think again, all this. I mean, Revit is a super easy piece of software that you can work and then you can learn. But then understanding, you know, the proper things, how to do it better to get a better performance, you know, how to avoid ways of modeling things, even bringing some information from, you know, third parties, for example, Element, or when you are bringing some information from different piece of softwares like Rhino or anything else. So you need to be aware what you are bringing in. It's not really Revit related. It's more like, you know, from the other softwares, what you are bringing, and kind of, you know, doing like a QA QC properly before importing that in, because then when it's in Revit, you need to understand what you are getting and how you can make it better. But again, the majority of the things I can tell you, and as you were saying, Gustavo, it's more about skills and the way that the people are modeling things outside of Revit from the exterior, you know, piece of softwares, rather than modeling inside of Revit itself. So the main problems that you have with the performance, it's more when you are importing and bringing things. So there's a lot of things that you need to be aware. Again, a matter of skills, a matter of knowing exactly what you should be doing before bringing that in, rather than, you know, like doing in Revit.
Okay. And now, Claudio, you are getting the point.
Okay. Pretty much the same thing, but in my point of view, it's simpler. Can you work with a simple based Mac or Windows computer, dual core, quad core, octa core, no problem. You can take advantage of all. Small, big size, there's no problem. There's one thing that says, and it's very, very important, is for my point of view, is skills and organization. Yeah. You have to do right, and you have to work with just what you need. I have some clients that work with all layers visible, everything, and okay, the computer can handle all that information. So simple as it only needs to work with just what it needs to work for that moment. So you have to think what we are doing, and for that is organization, is two words: organization and the skills for organization and understanding how the template of the office works. That's the major thing, that it's enough for everything goes right.
And then I conclude, guys, that the question of skills is the question of the performance. Is technology is managed in system with the skills, and we are relating one each other, and even other technologies integrated within Revit or within ArchiCAD in the practice. Okay.
Yeah, because there are some things that you can build something. If you don't know how to build that thing correctly, it can be in organization or modeling, and you can drastically downsize the speed of the machine.
So and just to complement what Claudio was saying, because he was mentioning a super important thing, which is, you know, like when we are working with Revit, and this is not with Revit, with a BIM project, this is not a matter of, you know, because it's pretty much the same with ArchiCAD or Revit, but when we are working with in a BIM project, you know, when you have everything visible or not visible, comparing with a normal 2D, you know, software, it's completely different, because if you can see the old building, everything visible, you know, there's a lot of geometry visible, there's a lot of metadata as well visible, that, you know, the computer needs to, you know, to go through it for all this information, even for, you know, for a small update, amendment, or if you want to add something else, you want to edit something, if everything is visible, the computer itself needs to process much more information rather than having exactly what they need to, to make it visible. In Revit or in any software, it's pretty much the same. It's always a matter of, skills, because first you need to understand how you can manage this information by switching on and off whatever it's possible, and even though you need to know exactly when you are switching things on and off, because for sure there's a lot of ways to do it from the ArchiCAD or from Revit. There's a lot of things, like it's different if I want to switch off like a very specific category, which is like comparing with ArchiCAD, a specific layer, but then I can simply switch off the entire link. And if I'm doing this different thing, that is, I will get more performance from my computer, because there's much less information, which is not taking like space, performance space on my computer. Again, you need to understand the whole thing. I mean, this is a very good point that Claudio was highlighting here.
Okay, guys, so good. The question is completely understandable. Let's go to the automation. Two things in automation. One is 20% of the task, 80% of the work, okay, of the processes. And then automation is doing the work as simple as effective and profitable. And the other thing is certain environments of algorithmic design that creates something that is quite large not to do with, for example, is algorithmic design of Dynamo or Grasshopper integrated for complex forms or something like that. Two different things. From the first thing is how to automate the processes to be more efficient in the modeling process. Decio?
Yes, I mean, regarding automation, like with Revit or in the Autodesk world, yeah, for sure you can use Dynamo, which is a super simple piece of software that you can use. It's visual programming, like it's like you have some nodes, you are connecting plug nodes from one side to another one. It does something in the background, and it's easier, it's faster, and it's from the performance way of doing things, it's much way better, because you are playing, let's say, with the proper organs, from Revit itself. So on that note, it's quite simple. It's Dynamo, it's pretty much the same, I would say, as Grasshopper. But since a few couple of versions ago, there is a way to link Grasshopper straight into Revit as well. Like by using a proper Rhino inside, which is like a plugin that connects Rhino straight away into Revit. So there's no need of creating whatever in Rhino by using Grasshopper and then bring that Rhino file back into Revit. There's no need of doing that or using script that converts a Grasshopper script into a Dynamo script. Now what I'm saying now, for the last few couple of years, I would say that everything is more connected. And for sure that with Dynamo, you are not, or even with Grasshopper in Revit, you are not adding new tools. Like what you are adding, it's more flexibility, like with a different piece of software that you can play with, which is Dynamo. And then with Dynamo, you will be playing or using the same tools that you have in Revit, but in a much way better and at some point easier. And I'm saying at some point because, like playing with the visual thing, like connecting boxes here and there, if you understand the thing, you can do it. But then if you want to push, the boundaries, I would say, from this programmatic, way of doing things, on that case, you need to know, like programming itself. You need to know C# if you want to do a API or a plugin or anything, or you need to know, for example, Python, which is the programming language that you need to know. But again, this is a bit more pushing the boundaries, because I would say if you as a normal architect, I would say that you can play with Dynamo, but working with a Python, which is more IT related, like you need to have like proper knowledge and everything, it's a bit more like, you know, again, pushing a bit more and extrapolating much more what we from the architectural side, you know, like pushing a bit more our knowledge to that, you know, to that area. But again, all this automation, it's super simple to bring that information into Revit, convert into a, you know, like native geometry, even if it's coming from Rhino. You can have the ownership of that one. You can simply convert those imported geometry into native Revit at any time.
Okay, Claudio.
ArchiCAD automation, it starts, you can use a simple phrase, a simple sentence as from Grasshopper to PDF. You can build it, start building with Grasshopper inside plugin of ArchiCAD. You can build everything, and then you can use, for example, the publisher. So you can have all the file documented outside, as you can be 100 files saved immediately as PDF, whatever. Also, we have a very powerful language, which is GDL. It's a geometric description language that works very, very easy. But okay, as you said, is a start high level for an architect. Not for everyone, but one architect that loves it, it loves it. It's amazing. It's you hate it or you love it. And also we have Python, and now you have the new Paramo, so you can have pretty much do it everything on ArchiCAD, or you can relate it from others for a complete task.
Okay, guys, that's one interesting question. We are three of us. We are architects or here, and we are experts on Revit, ArchiCAD, and so on, because if you not only knows Revit, you not only knows ArchiCAD. You think that architects and designers like us, with a good level, you know, modeling level, are prepared to code?
Well, I mean, you know, from my perspective, I would say, you know, straight away, no. But I think it depends where you are doing your uni, you know, course, I would say, because in some different countries, you might have some background. And from my experience, I can see, you know, a few couple of architects that they studied architecture, and they are super good, you know, scripting, and they know a lot about scripting, which is, you know, amazing. And again, I remember like a few years ago, I think it was in 2011, 2000, 2010 or 2011, in Autodesk University, when they started, you know, like talking about design scripting, which is, you know, some sort of scripting thing that it was working on top of AutoCAD. And when I was there, we were around 180, you know, like on the same classroom.
Okay.
You know, like I was there in that room, and the trainer, you know, the guy that was, you know, driving the class, he was asking how many of us were architects. And I was surprised because, you know, I would say around 70 or 80% of us, they were all architects. And the thing is, knowing that all of them were architects and they were there on a scripting class, you know, like my scripting, you know, my scripting skills at that point was zero. I would say -10 or something like that, actually. But it was interesting. And then I said, what this means, this means that I need to start understanding, you know, like straight away how to do scripts. Because one of the questions that I did on that time is, when are you going to develop that tool, the design script, on top of Revit, not in AutoCAD? You know, because on that time I was just realizing that we need something, you know, to push the boundaries of Revit. Because with Revit, you don't need to do you don't need to know anything regarding scripting, because even doing families, which is, you know, parametric elements, it's, you know, it's super simple, because it's pretty much how you are designing, you know, like you don't need to know anything about scripting, because it's a matter of selecting the dimensions, transforming those ones into parameters, and the families work super well. So you don't even need any kind of skills regarding, regarding programming. But on that day, I said, yeah, I need to know. So again, you can work with Revit without anything about scripting. Yes, you can do it. But again, if you want to push a bit more, and it's not only working with Dynamo, because with Dynamo by the box, like, using the packages, importing nodes, collecting nodes from one point to another one, it's super simple. You just need to understand how Revit works and then how Dynamo works, and then you can do it. I mean, so it's super simple, and again, Dynamo is not related with Revit. It's another piece of software. But if you want to push more, then you need to know scripting, and you need to know super well, because otherwise, even the way that you are scripting, like the way that you are writing your scripts, it will affect performance of the Revit itself, or even Dynamo or Grasshopper or any software. So you need to know exactly how to do things. Otherwise, it will become like super demanding, scripting at the end.
Okay, Claudio.
I think for my experience, I'm training. I make some trainings for the GDL for architects, and what I see is that there are architects and the others that not architects, are just designers, engineers, whatever. And what I see is that the architect, it just need to a simple click to understand what is this. It's just a geometric description language, and it's just so simple that you just need to understand how it works. And after that, you can pretty build anything, because it's pretty amazing. I didn't think that it could be so so interesting for architects to do it. Okay, but as I said, or you love it or you hate it. You just have you spend time building things with numbers, not with lines or walls or something like that. You just draw a command. So, but if you understand that, the ones that understand, they love that. That's a very good power.
Okay. Let's go to the last part of this block, that is maintenance. Trust me that I am interested in to know how many time we spend on the system well installed, well set up, and the people working. And this is not from the box. Out of the box, this is not working. Okay, that's the point. And then, which is the work and the time you spend, or you spend because you are earning, you are returning value, returning more efficiency, more effectiveness in the future with the maintenance of the software. It's easy to install, it's easy to maintain, you have the structure, you have everything there, and it's not expensive, and you don't spend so much time, or the time you spend is so is returned by the future saved time in processes. Okay, that's the point. Maintenance. That's the point right now.
Yeah,
how
regarding
Revit or ArchiCAD.
Yeah, regarding maintenance, I think it's quite simple. I mean, if you know what you need to be installed, if you know that the Revit it's not compatible with the previous version, so that is you need to be this, to be aware of this one. If you know that small things like on top of your head, which is not rocket science, it's super straightforward for you to understand. It's simple. It takes time for sure. Depends of the office, the size, the amount of people, the amount of installations that you need to do. It's time consuming, but again, I think it's not it's not rocket science. It's a push of a button if you want, and it will install straight away everything, all the software, all the updates. Even if you want to install plugins, the ones that you want, it will improve your your workflows and everything. So it's quite simple. you don't need to have like IT skills, like super high level. No, it's super simple. You can do it by yourself. But again, depending of the IT policies that you have in place in your practice, this might cause some issues here and there. But, you know, apart from those ones, even if you want to install everything and maintain, it's super simple, super easy, super straightforward.
Okay, Claudio.
Okay, ArchiCAD is just out of the box. It's okay, pretty complete, but you need to do one important thing, is that after the installation and configuration is just shortcuts and something simple things like that. But then you have to create your own templates. There are templates for sale, but I prefer to teach how to make the template, so you can use the template as you want and to make your things by your way. So the template is one very powerful, I can say, tool, because everything is there. Okay, it's after that, it's like you go the first time to work with whatever job it is. If you work, you go to a place and then you have an empty desk. Okay, if you want to draw something, you have to go. Now I have to go to the pencil, go to get the pencil, the paper, and so on. Mm-hmm. You have nothing to work. But if you get to your desk and on your desk, you have all the things to work. That's the template. You just need to work to put your ideas on paper. And that's the one important thing of the template. So after you have the template, you have to understand how to work with the template, because you can have a very good template, but if you don't know how to work with it, nothing works. Everything is a pretty mess. So after that, you can do everything very simple and on a easy way. So that's it.
Yeah, the question of the template, you can add something, or we can go to the maintenance return of investment. And in fact, the question of the engagement with the team, because the template BIM manager can apply to all the installations of the software and all the sessions of the. We can go a little bit going to the second block, but closing with the template. And that you can.
Yeah,
let's talk about the work you need to do, and the return you have from a good template, and the security of the information also.
Yeah. I think I would say that you have to, like, doing a template. It's something that we need to do. There's no point of avoiding doing a template. Okay. And as Claudio was saying, everyone has their own template. Everyone has their own workflows, which again, the template needs to comply in a certain way with your, with your workflows, the way that you are putting things together, the way that you are creating sheets, the way that you are exporting things to the DWGs, PDFs, whatever, which is your deliverables. So all of these, you need to do it. And to be honest with you, if you don't have a proper template, it will be like a super waste of time every time that you want to do a project. I would say, for sure, it's not impossible, but I would say that it's almost impossible, to get something out without, changing and rechanging and rechanging and rechanging. In every single project doing that thing, literally, it doesn't work. So it takes time. Yes, it takes time. It's not a simple things to do. When I'm saying simple, it's not because it's complex, it's because it takes time. And if it takes time, you need to manage your time. You need to have time to do, and this will, again, you need to make sure that you have the proper skills and Revit or software knowledge. And it's not only software knowledge. You need to have like a software knowledge, yes, because we are preparing the settings of the software itself. But second, you need to understand as well your drawing standards from the office as well, where you are working, because the drawing standards is quite important, because the architects or the engineers or whomever is exporting their drawings, structural, civils, whatever, they need to understand the drawings that they are producing. That is, all this information that goes through the export or through the PDFs needs to be understandable from their side. So everything needs to match with those standards. And again, if you don't have all of these, aligned, there's a lot of minor things here and there that you need to make sure that all the, the text size, dimensioning, everything that follows exactly your drawing standards. And yes, if you are doing that on a proper way, the return of investment, the ROI or whatever you want to call on that note, yeah, it will be straight away visible, because a tedious task, like a super tedious task, if you workflow and even your template file, it's everything aligned, it can be super streamlined, and then you can do that, tedious task in a few couple of clicks. And when I'm saying few couple of clicks, it's like 1 click, 2 clicks, 3 clicks, and you can, set up all your project with 1,000 sheets or whatever you want to do. It's a matter of, making sure that everything is aligned. And again, it takes time. I mean, it takes time. It's your experience, the office itself. You need to have the proper skills. You need to know exactly which plugins and everything that you have all over the place. Maybe you need to do like your own scripting thing using API, Dynamo, whatever. But again, it takes time.
Okay, Claudio, you want to add something, because you explained so well the question of the template.
No. It's just that.
Let's just go again. Go ahead.
It's just as I said, it's you build it and you work with it. And one important thing, many people think that I'll do a template and it's done. No, it's not. You will do one template, but then there's a new material that appears on the market, or there's a new format that you need to do something delivering. One template is not closed. You have to always implement new things to the template so that it will be always updated. Mm-hmm. So that's a very important. I've done the template and it's done for 10 years. No, not at all. You have to work on it.
Okay, but it's not. My point is, it's not never-ending task. It is something that you increase and you use. You keep value.
Yes,
the modeling. Yes. That's the point. Yeah, and in fact, so Decio, go ahead.
No. Oh.
No, we can't hear you.
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry. What I was saying, there's another important thing. I think it's related with the template file, and we will talk after. I think it's in the next module, which is the collaboration. Because when you are work on this collaboration environment, that is, you need to share your file with someone else, with your consultant. And people, even our offices, they are a bit, sometimes they are stepping back, saying, no, I'm not going to share because I'll be sharing my templates and all my work that I did for the last 10 years or whatever, and I don't want to share with anyone else. And, this is not even a question, because as Claudio was saying, you can have like the best one like ever template file, but then at the end, you don't know how to work with it because it's not aligned with whatever you are doing. So you will have all these settings, but maybe sometimes you don't even understand why they are doing this on this way or that way. Again, this is like a false question because there's no issues whatsoever by sharing. And even though, when you are sharing, you can learn as well from there. And it's pretty much the same the other way around. I will be learning from them. And this, again, as you were saying, stuff, which is a very good point. We are having like our template file. I'm doing templates files since I don't even know when, like super years back there, and I'm always improving my template file. And sometimes I need to restart all over again because sometimes they are developing a very specific tool, a new tool, more performing, more demanding, whatever. And maybe our template file needs to be re-updated just to make sure that we are, incorporating all this new change with that specific new tool that they developed and make it available in Revit. So all of these things, it's super important. And again, it's a work in progress. A template file, it's never, ever finished, I would say.
Okay. To close, something to add, or we go to the collaboration, Claudio?
No. Okay.
Yeah, that's from my point of view. In the great debate, we all talk about if the one file and the multi files have the same issue with the case of templates, because it's a lot of value going there. Let's go to the second block. We start right now. Is the collaboration, and is the architecture of collaboration first, collaboration and co-design. Okay, and then the architectural collaboration in a short answer, not short answer, but which is the architecture of the whole thing. You Decio, and you, Claudio, tell something about the collaboration, the architecture of collaboration, not the system itself, ArchiCAD or Revit. Let's talk about the same. Let's talk about how the whole team works with your system, with Revit or with ArchiCAD. Okay. Let's talk, Claudio. You start.
Okay. So collaboration. This is for me. It's a very powerful word because you just have to. There's nothing. You have to collaborate, and for that, ArchiCAD has a very good tool that is BIM Cloud. And you can work with that BIM clouds as outside of the office, remotely, or in the office. It's the same thing. And you just do one thing. You just install BIM clouds and upload the file. Then you create the roles for each one. Okay, I'm a BIM architect.
Yeah.
I don't know if you to talk about that. No, later.
No, on the next.
Sorry, because it's so everything is connected.
That is.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's BIM Cloud. This is the architecture now.
Okay, so the architect is just that. It's one file uploaded to the BIM Cloud, and everyone goes there and work on it.
Okay. And Decio?
Yeah, I mean, from the collaboration side of things, it's quite easy for you to work with Revit. I mean, like you can, Revit works with all the disciplines, architectural, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing fixtures, which is public health, and fire protection. So there's everything in there. So you can use everything. I would say that it's always, and again, this is not Revit related. This is more like, a interdisciplinarity way of working, which is every discipline should have their own model, their own file, even if they are all using the same software. It doesn't matter. That's not the issue. But again, on that regarding like working in a collaborative way with Revit, it's super simple. Like everyone can work on their own system. We can use we'll talk later on about different platforms that you have to share models all over the place, but then you can just bring all these files in, create our federated model, link everything in, work with visibility things. I want to see only the ducts and see if it's clashing with the structure, or if the structure is clashing with my cladding, if the cladding is clashing with my pipes. So it's super simple, super easy. I think the most important things for you to understand is how to put things together. What is a federated model? How, again, from skill-wide, what you need to do just to make visible only the things that you want to see it, to do all this collaboration and coordination process. And that's it. I mean, again, it's everything a matter of, skills and knowing exactly what needs to be done.
But it's important that you talk tell us which are the technology of the collaboration on Revit. But maybe in ArchiCAD it's only one. Is good. I prove that, and on Revit I know that.
Yeah, there is more.
Decide. Your point is you decide, no?
Yes, there is more, because like we can work like in our own environment, which is our premises, like our intranet, and then we can share across our office. And even if you have a multidisciplinary office, then you can spread all over the place. And then you have two at least super good systems, which is the Revit server. And the Revit servers, you can manage your own Revit Windows server. Then you can install that software, which is again super simple piece of software. You can install, you can control, you can manage, you can share with everyone. Okay, and then the third one is, the third one is BIM 360, which BIM 360, apart from doing exactly the same that does Revit Server, with small things here and there, maybe we will touch bases afterwards regarding the security and cybersecurity and so on. But apart from those ones, I would say that BIM 360 is a proper, almost a proper CDE, like common data environment. So it's not only a matter of, you know, work sharing and working in a cloud-based system, but it does all the sharing files across all teams. It does like a document control with all the versioning, when and what has been shared on that specific from those users. You can accept, you know, like you can accept those files, those models, which was shared from someone else. So it's your, you can control if you want to consume those files to be linked and coordinate in you. So it's not a matter of sharing, it's a matter of you have your own controlled work in progress area, and then you can decide, okay, the structural guys, they are sharing this model. Do I really want to consume, to use this file because they shared last minute and I don't have time to coordinate, yes or no? So there's always, you know, like a work in progress area like that where you can control. And this is the main difference from the BIM 360 and the Revit server or your own network premises or whatever.
Because we are talking about technology, now we are talking about interoperability.
Yes.
And something simple for you is your Revit or ArchiCAD, in this case ArchiCAD, are open BIM, which version, and the MVD, the model view definition, is the part that the BIM environment use, because there is a lot of stuff there in the IC. For example, there is fire protection, there is mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, maybe only mechanical or electrical, which is the open BIM version. The support is certified, no? Your software. Claudio, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So we have for MVD for ArchiCAD, this the 24 version, the version 24 as the as now available for also engineers. So you can do your own structure, your own MEP, and everything on the same file. So for now on, you have architects and all the engineers working on the same file, on the same network, whatever it's in the same office or remotely all over the world.
But MVD for architecture, for mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, for structure.
Yes.
Supports. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
all the parts that everything.
Okay.
And also again the energy analysis, but that don't forget about that. It's another way.
But it's certified. I am not sure that is the part certified is available. But yes, we are interested in all the things that is checked by by building.
Check, okay, check it's better. ArchiCAD, MEP, and structure. Okay.
Thank you.
Leave it like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. On that regard, the MVDs and all this open BIM, as you know, like as we know, the Building Smart needs to certify softwares when you are exporting to IFCs, because everything is related with IFCs when you are exporting. Yeah. And we know that the Building Smart now is working in the 5.0, or 5 IFC 5, which is. Yeah, it will be. It's coming because they are developing that one more for the horizontal, infrastructures like trains and so on. But still, this is not the case. We know now that at this point, as far as I'm aware, there's the IFC 4.2. I think it was kind of the last one. I'm not 100%. I think Revit, it's not yet certified for 4.2. But I'm 99% or 98% sure that the 4.1, it's already certified for all the disciplines, MEP, structure, and architecture. So there's no problems whatsoever. There's a very big, change from the 2x3, the previous one. Yeah. So there's a very big, massive change, regarding the geometry itself, the way that the IFC handles all this geometry, which is fine. It's getting there. I'm assuming with all this, promises that came from Building Smart, that the IFC 5 will handle even better. So I'm looking forward to get that one. But for now, I would say 4.1 for sure. Everything works, from all the disciplines. I would say I would recommend to use 4, the normal 4 yet, okay? And just to make sure, if there's no big, geometries like crazy geometry, double curved and everything, I would say on that cases, I would recommend to use the 2x3 still. I mean, I think it's still more stable. It's still there. Again, 4.2 is already out there. I'm not sure about Revit on that one. 4.1 works well. 4.0, I would say 90% it works fine. But for my experience, I would say keep 2x3 if it's possible, and make sure that all the geometry and everything can be handled with that MVD version.
Okay, IFC, the model is okay. Your environments. Later, I asked you about your sensation about the development and engagement of the brand with the IFC. But let's talk about terminology, the BSDD, the classifications, omni-class, unique-class, and the mapping that is the Building Smart Data Dictionary. Building Smart Data Dictionary, yes or no, is implemented, or you hear that will be implemented soon? Yes or no?
Well, yeah, go ahead, Claude, go ahead, sorry.
Yes, it's the start of classification, yes.
You hear something that, okay.
Yeah, I can talk about that now.
That you can talk about that here.
Yes, for sure. Since ever, I would say, you can use OmniClass, you can use Uniformat, you can use Master Format, you can even if you want. It's not recommended, but still, we know that there's a lot of people inventing the wheel all over again, but still, you can use any classification system that you want by creating new parameters in Revit and do whatever. So there's no, limit, I would say, on that one.
Okay, the last question is, let's talk about in the architecture, about the renovation and the rehabilitation project that, if you are using some piece and you are having several states, and the renovation rehabilitation is capable your system to do that, Claudio?
Yes, very easy task to do it. It's appear on the ArchiCAD 15. And since then, it's keep evolving, and it just works. It's so simple that the first time it's so simple that the first time I saw it, and I'm doing the renovation by hand, you can say it, and then I saw that and I say, no, it's not possible. Okay. It's not possible to work so easy and so powerful as it works.
You are excited about that?
Yeah, because it's one thing that gives so much trouble and work, and it just makes it appear so lightly. And
okay, don't tell the people you enjoy modeling because they think you are not working.
Yeah, that's one thing. For me, it's very important. Everybody needs to work not as slaves, but you have to work happy. You have to. Okay, let's keep that happy. End of story.
Okay. That's you.
Yeah. In Revit, it's possible, pretty much the same as Claudio was saying. Super easy, straightforward. You can do whatever, you can do quantifications if you want. You can use color coding for you to see different things, what needs to be demolished, what is new, what will be, temporary if you want. So it's super easy. And then you can do like a timeline, whatever is coming after.
You are confirming something that is public, but you are confirming that.
The
best experts, one of the best experts in the world, not the best, one of the group of the best experts.
But again, it's super simple to work with that one.
About Graphisoft or Nemetschek, and about Autodesk, that are one of the bigger four. Autodesk, Nemetschek, Trimble, and the other is Bentley. Are the largest BIM software groups in the world. But you trust on Autodesk, you trust on Graphisoft, on your software, on your software maker to be engaged with the latest evolutions of the standard will be there. Your brand will be there.
Claudio.
Yes.
Claudio?
Of course.
It's your trust, it's your sensation that is going there and always pushing.
Yes. It's now for me it's a very that because I already know something about that I can talk, but I cannot.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
I cannot talk about that. And it
well,
just keeps,
I tried.
It's like Steve Jobs. It's like Steve Jobs, always surprising me.
Please, for the public and the watchers right now, you know, this guy has certain information that is quite sensible, and I never pay nothing that is not on the agenda of these guys, you know, but sometimes when you have the opportunity to tell us some information that you got from the top, okay, and you share with the top, and it's a very sad, but in the next season of the BIM 101, you can tell us, okay?
I can break.
Something happens there, no?
Something happens.
And it's good. Okay, yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, from the Autodesk, because there's no doubts that will be on top of everything, you know, like they are, you know, like leading, I would say, all this process since the beginning. You know, we know that IFC started, Autodesk started the IFC and all this open BIM. Everyone thinks that Autodesk is against the IFC, but you know, they started all this process, this open BIM process. So they're always there. They are all over the place with regard, you know, BIM. They have softwares that comes from infrastructure, construction, the GIS, you know, environmental. So, you know, this is like 4 or 5, if you want, branches that they are there. So it's impossible. They are leading the market, I would say, okay. You know, like, so yeah, no problems whatsoever. That one
is fantastic. And the experience you said something that is important to this bold, that is a lot of years, has a lot of experience, is tested, and is now becoming more and more compatible, more interoperable, and that's something for me confident and to enter this world. Yeah. That is quite a lot of work done for you and for everyone of us, and that's it. Yeah. That's done.
And what is amazing with all of this, you know, different branches where Autodesk is working, like, you know, construction, infrastructure, environmental, it's super easy, you know, all the workflow that they have, you know, all the way that all the softwares connects with each other. It's not perfect. It's super far away of being perfect, but it's getting there.
But so they're pushing now.
They're pushing a lot.
Are pushing. Graphisoft, Nemescheck, Autodesk are convinced about the compatibility, no?
Yeah. Which again, which makes sense. Makes all the sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, what I was saying is 100%, you know, confident that they will be always in there, always. You know, like always.
So good to know. And
they will not develop the software as I want, you know, as myself, Décio Ferreira wants, or you, Gustavo, or even Claudio, you know, because but again, they will be always, you know, like aligned with the industry itself wants to go and moving on, that adding towards whatever, you know, like no problems with that one.
We need the best ones, the 4 best ones to go ahead.
Sure.
And to improve, because it's an industry, the eco industry is coming from the IC and is coming and need all this push, and trust on that. It seems that the other solution is obsolete.
Yeah, you know? Exactly.
And then change the mind and change the technology and says this is the only way, and be convinced.
And again, I think, you know, from the technology side of things, this is normal. Technology is always improving and developing. So today I'll be working with Revit. Tomorrow I'll be working with another piece of software. You know, like it's normal. This is the way that things moves on. You know, they can, even though, you know, from the Autodesk side, they can keep always forever the same name for Revit for the next 50 years. And even in the background, they can change everything without even you notice that they changed the whole thing. You know what I mean? So for me, it's not a matter of branding Revit, you know, right now, like for the next week, Revit 2022, I don't care. You know what I mean? So even though I don't care, for me, this is like only a commercial thing. The only thing that I want is like a very powerful tool that, you know, allows me to do my design the way that I want to do. I don't care whatever it's in the background.
Please, people, here these guys are quite experienced and everything is there, but you know, you are fans of your solution, and I guess there is a feeling inside you, you know a lot of things, but one feels more for Revit and the other is your experience, is your
normal.
life, but it's details, the devil is on details, okay? And Claudio, we're talking about collaboration, but the collaboration on your system, and the system, the architecture, collaboration itself, is role-based, your collaboration?
Yes.
And describe more or less how these roles are, examples.
It's as usual in Graphisoft softwares, in this case Graphisoft ArchiCAD. It's pretty simple. You just install the BIM cloud, and then you create the roles for each user. BIM architect, BIM modeler, viewer, whatever. And then you say, okay, the viewer just can see this. They can't change anything, can print, can do nothing, just can view. Or you just define the role for each one of the team players. So there's no mess. So for a rookie that starts working and he will do something simple, you just give to him, okay, your role is to do something simple like this, and you can't assess, he can seize, but he cannot change nothing, because you don't have the permissions to work on something that it's not for him. So this is the rule. Is very secure. The role is very secure, and it works very, very good.
Okay.
Simple.
Yeah, from Revit, as I said before, we have these three different, ways of working collaboratively. In the premises, the Revit server, and the BIM 360. Again, if you are working in your own system network, it depends of your permission. So this is IT related. It's not with the software. It's not software related. With Revit server, if you are installing Revit server, and if you give access to the Revit server, there's no way for you to control the access. So everyone can have access to everything, unless you have like a third-party software which will control the access to that specific folder. Okay. And then there's the third one, which is BIM 360. And the BIM 360, it's a cloud base. So then if you can set up, all the possible, like viewer, editor, admin, project admin, hub admin, you can only see, read, you can only assign issues, you can open, you can use Revit to synchronize. There's a lot of different, like I would say, like packages on top of BIM 360, because BIM 360, there's a lot of different modules specific for very different tasks, like document management. Then you can have access to that one. That is, you want to control versions. You want, someone else to work only from that specific team, which they don't have access to my models unless I'm sharing. They can see it, they cannot edit. So you can control, whatever you want with BIM 360. So I'd say whatever you are setting up, for sure, it can be better here and there, because sometimes I would like to see something which is not available. Again, there's always, this point here and there. But apart from those ones, which is very minor things, I would say, everything you can set up as much as you want.
It's easy to install and set up. This is a little short answer. Let's talk about short questions, and then we have the picture. Okay, and it's easy to set up.
The BIM 360. Yeah. BIM 360 is super straightforward. You don't need, Revit skills or anything. It's super easy. You just need to understand how it works.
Okay, Claudio.
Yes, it's very simple.
No problem.
It's just one step, two steps. One step is click to install, and second step is create the roles. the roles,
yeah.
and the rules, and just
yeah.
and there are some clicks, and I can do this, this, and this, and this. Just check marks and nothing more.
Okay. For you, Claudio, instant messaging on some system inside the environment, the BIM server?
Yes, you have instant messages on BIM server, on BIM clouds. You can send message, can send...
at the level of the project or at the level of the server?
On the project.
Of the project.
On the project.
That's 1 point.
Yeah, on the project.
When you're working with work sharing, you don't have any, any instant message system in place. So there's nothing. You need to use like the Teams or anything else.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in there. The only thing that you have, you'll receive like a pop-up message saying that you need to relinquish or grant permission or something like that. But apart from that one, there's no IM implemented.
Yeah, it's more from editors, but let's go with the rest of the world, no, the reviewers. Claudio, BCF, the BIM collaboration format is supported, no?
Yes, perfect.
That's a fact. It's a check.
It's a check. Yeah. It's supported. Yes, of course.
Decio, is
the same. It's not by the when you're by the box when you're installing it, but there's a lot of plugins all over the place. And again, you can even use through BIM 360 if you want to import and export.
But supports the BCF, is open.
Yeah, support. Yeah. No problems whatsoever.
Really, it's astonished the number of apps and third party.
There's a lot.
Pieces of software, as you say.
Yeah. There's a lot. Even even BCF. Yeah, we can use a BIM Collab, BIM Track, whatever. All these third parties piece of software. You can just use it, and it's super simple. I mean, there's nothing that
And then the client has the BCF and then review and then send to you. And let's talk about the co-design on the next segment. One final question is about the tracking. The tracking of the process is part of the architecture. There is RACI or RACI profiles that is for revision, for approval, for consulting, for consulted, for informed. That's kind of tracking process and roles are integrated within your system.
Yes. Yes. You can.
But as RASI projects, as this kind of. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. It's you can check everything. You can send all this kind of information. You can track what is made, where it's made, who made it, so everything. Decisions. Okay, you can take this. Okay, please check this, verify if everything is okay. Then you receive the information. Okay, delete this, change this, make this new. On just some clouds and some circles
through the instant messaging that has the messaging system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You just click on the button, you receive a message. Do this or read this, or you can receive, or you just have a list, a to-do list. So you have implemented on ArchiCAD.
That's you.
Yeah, with Revit, or with Autodesk, it's the same. I mean, you can control, you can access, you can approve, you can accept, a submission, you can accept, or you can consume anything that was shared with you. You can create issues straight away with BIM 360. You can share only with one team, design team, architecture, or even with the structure without knowing architectural team to know. So there's a lot of, channels, different channels and different ways of communicating issues across all the design teams. And then again, you have a timeline to see when they shared, if you consume those ones, when versioning. So there's a lot of information all over the place in the platform that you can track. And then you have like a proper approval system in place.
Check, and then let's go to the co-design. Check. It's okay. Our watchers are seeing that now that the question is solved, and let's go to the collaboration with the rest of the stakeholders. It's co-design because they are not editors. They are going to receive the federated model, some piece of this, some model, complete model, and they check and review with the BCF. And then the question is so simple. We have these devices. from these devices tell us, and then the standalone, you know, the computer, and then which is the system your environment use to share and receive, share the model and receive the reviews, is transparent. We are talking about something that is direct, that is, then send the model, you see something, you review. If you are the client, if you are the consultant, it's that's the process that your environment designs to co-design with the whole stakeholders.
I don't know who's gonna talk now.
Well, I mean, I can do it.
Design,
Yeah.
about the review.
I can start.
How your system works? How the ArchiCAD in this case?
No, I'm just asking who's gonna answer now, me or Daisy?
Yeah, myself. Yeah, I will reply now. Yeah, from Autodesk. Yes. So you, I mean, you're regarding this co-design or having everyone on board, no matter if it's the client or if it's any consultant which is on board on the project, you can have in any single, you know, piece of device, can be like your mobile phone, can be an iPad, can be internet, can be your desktop. You don't even need to open Revit. You can create an issue, communicate, approve a submission, you know, control whatever is in there. You can share all kind of, you know, different files. You can do markups on top of a PDF. You can do markups on top of a sheet, which is related with your BIM model. It can be shared across the team. The team will receive it straight away into Revit. With a click, they'll go straight to the issue itself. They will see all the information related with that one. So regarding all this, you know, environment, you know, a design environment, let's call this way, I mean, everything it's in place in BIM 360. Again, it can be improved. They are always adding, as you know, they change now. They are called, it's called now construction something. I don't recall the name.
Autodesk Construction Cloud.
Yeah, construction cloud, exactly.
Yes.
Because they are adding more tools. They bought new tools, a proper PDF, you know, markup system.
Yeah.
I mean, they have everything in place and it can be used across all the design teams.
Okay, and Claudio?
Okay, ArchiCAD has this BIMX application app. It's pretty amazing and pretty simple. One interesting thing is you can see it on the iPad presentation on the Apple site. When you see this movie on the Apple on the iPad, you see the iPad and the guy is working with BIMX. So this is very easy. You can send it to.
That's fine for the BIM world.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody can work with it.
It's an honor. Okay.
It's an honor. Yes. It's an award at the event. It's an award application. So and you can send it to everyone. You can see all the 3D model. You can check all the drawings, floor plans, sections and elevations. Everything is there. Also, you can have the 2D documentation of texts, files. Everything is there. You can command, and then send to the office. Something is not right here. Correct this. You are on the site and you check something it's not right, and then you send the information to the office through that that application.
Okay, to close this section, we are talking about APD. We are talking about the early design stage and facilitate the access of the stakeholders, and then you are telling me that this is transparent, people receive the model and see something and says, I don't like that, I don't see, this is crazy, something like that, review, and then push the button, and then go to the editor saying, that's it.
Yes.
Is the process? You confirm me that is
it's the BIM cloud based. Yeah, it's on BIM cloud, and then everything is connected to that.
And the same in the case
of,
it's the
same. It's the same.
Yeah.
I'm actually working on a very super massive project, and the client is doing it the same. Straight away in the models, they are opening online, clicking, seeing, doing 3D sections, doing whatever, sheets, whatever. They're approving, receiving, so you can do it with no problem whatsoever.
With a crazy number of guys, no?
Yeah. It's around 300. From our
300.
sides. From our side.
That's a good IPD.
Yeah, from our
IPD,
only from our
but...
side. Yes, only from my office.
Okay. Let's start with Decio in the third block. We are closing the second block of collaboration, then goes to security, privacy, and cybersecurity. Okay, let's talk about security, cybersecurity, and privacy. In the case of security, we are talking about something that prevents the errors, the mistakes, because bad boys, okay, bad guys going there and doing something bad, or somebody that is doing the worst things because they don't know nothing about how to work and has a bad day and destroys all the work of the team from 1 week and says only apologize. Okay, but the security, how you can recover. Let's talk about this kind of things in the case of Revit first, and in the case of ArchiCAD, how you prevent, how you see how the system works with this kind of have compartments to lost less time and less money, you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say again, if you are working with Revit on your computer, in your system, in your intranet, like in your premises, this control needs to be done on IT, level, I would say, because if you are deleting something, it goes straight to your recycle bin, and then they can just remove it from there. For example, there's some offices, and in Infosys we have the same, which is you can restore a file which was already deleted, for the last 6 months, let's say. So there's a lot of storage space for us to be able to restore any file which was been deleted in 6 months. Like it's a super massive area. That is fine. Then, for example, if you are working with Revit, and then if someone else deletes something in the file because they were not aware that of doing that, it will affect everything for some reason, you can always go back to the backup file, to the backup of the file, and then you can restore a very specific synchronization when it was done, if you know when it was. Otherwise, you need to go back and back. It's like rolling back to that specific timestamp, because whenever you are synchronizing, Revit stores or saves with a with a timestamp. If you are working, for example, with BIM 360, BIM 360 does the same. So if you are deleting by mistake, yes, it will affect everyone, but then you can just go to the delete folders or delete files, click restore, it goes back as it was before. Any versioning, any file, anything. So there's a control in place. It depends how you are working and where.
Claudio?
Okay, we have this backup system on BIM Cloud. No IT needs for configuration because it's automatically. You just need to define how many backups do you want. It's hourly, it's 2 hours, whatever you decide. And then if something happens, you just have to click on the file and then roll out. And okay, for the 4 o'clock, that I deleted this slab or something like that. That's one thing that you said it's very important, is that it's worse the guy that do something that don't know than the guy that it's a pirate, okay, something to damage the file. The guy do something and he don't know that he have done that mistake. So you just have to roll out the file and go to the previous version, and everything is controlled. So you never lose information.
Some skills in this case of to complete the security, because I see your opinion about the losses, which is the size, which is the importance of the losses, the relevance. If it's almost nothing, is particular, is one thing in one each month happens something, shit happens, okay. or in the skills you need to minimize it works. These skills are
yeah, it's as I said, it's installed on the BIM cloud. It's installed, it's there. You just need to roll out, to go to the previous backup and just click
and
it.
that's it.
Click, and then he replace it for he renames the another one for old, and then the new one starts. Everyone starts to working on that file. The new file that was an old file, but it was the file that is not
returning to the
completed,
normal.
and it's, they complete it. Very simple.
That's you.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I mean, again, as I was saying, there's two different things when you are working in your system, you know, in your computer, like working in your local computer, and on that one, you know, you need to know that your office they have this backup system. Otherwise, you will not be able to recover because you will not go there and see it. So this is something that you need to have in place. So there's nothing that you can do. It's something that the company needs to have in place. And the second one, which was, you know, what Claudio was saying, is everything is automated. You don't even need to know, because it does, you know, even it does. And it does whenever you are saving, it does a copy. So, and then you can just go back and roll back, you know, that version to the previous one or the whatever, because, you know, the cloud-based, there's no storage limit, there's nothing. So there's always in there. So working with the cloud, there's no issues whatsoever. The thing is, when you are not working the cloud and you are working in your network, in your premises, on that one, if there's nothing in place, the only thing is you need to roll back that specific, you know, option, or that specific, you know, rollback that you can go to the backup of the file. But if you are deleting the file itself in your computer, it's like your personal computer. If you delete one file and the file just goes, there's no way to recover that one. That's the only thing, unless you have something in place that you know will be able to recover that file. But again, online, there's nothing, you know, like you don't need to do anything, not even installing anything.
To know the level of you are worried about these kind of things, there is 5 options: is high, very high, high, normal, low, and very low. Which is your level of worry about this kind of thing?
Well, you know, I'm always worried, always, you know, like always,
Okay.
because if someone is deleting something, or even on purpose or by mistake, it's a mistake, you know, like what I mean. So there's something which is not working. So I need to be aware of those things. I'm not going to say that it's very high, but again, you know, if someone is deleting something by mistake, you know, no one goes to a file and deletes half of the file by mistake. There's always a reason why that thing is happening. So I'm always, you know, like very high, and my, you know, like my lamp is always on, you know, like just to make sure that no one is doing anything by mistake.
But you know, you are really worried about this kind of thing, or only happens and you prevent and you go there and solve the situation?
Yeah, it's like, you know,
it's a question of procedure, or you made mistake. I don't know if I recover.
No. I know that it's there. I know by heart that, you know, it will take me like 1 minute or 2 minutes to recover it. Like, you know, I need just to sorry, say again?
1 minute or 2 minutes?
Yeah. 1-2 minutes to recover anything.
You're not worried about that?
No. I mean, I'm just worried because if that happens, that is someone is doing wrong things. I'm not worried by recovering. I'm more worried why they did that mistake. You know what I mean?
That creates a new case.
Again, because
a new case that you need to prevent.
Yes. Yeah, because if that happens, it's not because someone deleted the file, because I know that I can recover straight away. It's why, to understand why that team member deleted those files or deleted those elements or something, why it happens. That's my main concern, not the file itself, because the file I can recover it.
Yeah. Claudio?
Yes, it's pretty the same. It's easy to recover, but for me, it's very important to understand why. Okay, it can be shit happens. Okay, no problem, but it's simple.
Okay.
Recovery.
Let's talk about cybersecurity. The question of encryption, the communications can be intercepted by hackers or something like that gets the whole. We are not talking about the local network. That is You know, the security is inside your organization. It must be something from inside. That's not the point. But the encryptation, when the communication goes on the internet, for example, when commercial information and important information are there for business, for large company that has thousands of shops all over the world, something like that, you know, and works with a lot of information going back and forth. Encryptation, your system, your collaboration architecture use encryptation for the communication of the data?
Well, from Autodesk, I would say yes. I don't know, you know, like in deep how they are doing things, but I know that, for example, my IT team, they're always, you know, looking for those ones, you know, the ISO 9001, 22 or 20001, which is related with security and cybersecurity.
Yeah.
There's a lot of procedures. And now that, you know, Autodesk moved or created new servers in Europe, you know, now we have servers in Europe and we have servers in US. And as you know, all the security standards, they are different from Europe to US.
Yeah,
so, that this was an issue before, because even if Autodesk was saying, yeah, because we are using the Amazon, servers and we are relying in whatever they want. For me, it's not, I mean, this is not my problem. The problem is Autodesk needs to make sure that they are complying, because I will double check if Autodesk is complying. If they have third parties doing their job, it's not my problem, because I will go back to Autodesk. So what I'm saying is, now that they have this ISO thing from Europe, I'm more protected. Like everything goes as it should be, as a minimum, I would say. And then on top of those ones, there's a few couple of things that, and it's related with not encrypting data, but it's more accessing to the data, like the single sign-on, for example. It's a super important thing that needs to be aligned with all this IT policies and the practices, because even when you have like a big practices as like, 1,000 people or 1,500 or so, we have this multi-factor system, which, you need to have like, you have a password, but then you need to have like a proper code to go into the system by SMS or whatever. So all of these things, it's really important just to make sure that everything is more protected. So again, having said this, I would say, yes, I would say that, Autodesk complies with all of these things because they are ISO certified. That is, they need to comply with, no matter if they are using the Amazon servers, the AWS, whatever. It's fine as long as they are complying with those requirements.
Yes, BIM Cloud is safe and secured, encrypted, and you need to have a username and a password so you can access the file. So otherwise, you can't see nothing. It's a secure file and protected. So on this case, we have no worries about.
Okay. And now talking about privacy, that is the issue of the year, is the question that we are not expecting to talk about, because we advance a lot, we evolve a lot, and then we are solving really detailed things, something that is important, but that is an important issue, but it's not on the scope of the past years, because we are expecting more being server performance. Privacy, especially the question arises with the cloud systems. And then let's talk about the privacy protection that your system has when we are talking about something that is in the cloud and is not on your premise.
Yes.
Because it's in your premise, that's the whole point, is you get all the privacy on your side. And
yeah, I mean, again, for us, for me, especially for me, like, if someone says that there is a password that you need to, to fill in just to access to the data, regarding security, I would say is zero or almost zero. Like, it's not only a a single password that will, make sure that you'll be the only one with only one single access system to validate, that you are getting in, because someone, can have access to your password, and then they can do whatever in your name. So, so you need to have like a proper security system in place, especially, when it comes to security thing. And why? Because it's when we have contracts that saying that, we should not be, talking about the project itself. There's a lot of NDAs in the project. You cannot. And then if you have everything in there, you need to make sure that your system, I'm not going to say 100%, which is not, I would say there's never, 100% secure, but at least it needs to be, complying with the minimum, like the ISO, for example. And the ISO says that you need to have multi-factor, which is, again, it's another level of security. It's not only a password, because a password, we know that it's always a password. And we all know, for example, here in Europe for the last year or 2 years, that even to access to our bank accounts, they will ask you your, password, and then they will send you like a code through your SMS system, whatever, for you to validate it. It's pretty much the same. I mean, you need to have like proper security when accessing to the data, especially, for example, practices, quite big when they are leaving the company. So when they are leaving the company, if they are not connected with your Active Directory, that is, if you turn it off, if it's not turning off everything related with that user, that is, you have this entrance here to the system. No matter if it's BIM 360, our system, Outlook, emails, whatever, there's always a gate which is not closed when you are leaving the company. So again, all this thing which is related again with the contracts and everything, it's very, very sensitive, and it's very, 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 very important, for all the design teams, whatever, because we are talking about construction or contractors or anything, needs to be aware that if you have a proper, super confidential project, you need to be aware if you're not complying with that one, they will come back to you for sure.
Yeah, Claudio.
I lost the question. It's about the privacy.
Yeah. Where the servers are, where the data from ArchiCAD. We are talking about Revit, no? But that opens the door to something bigger and more complex.
Yes, here in ArchiCAD we are BIM Cloud is a Google-based system, so it will look for the nearest server, so you can be as fast as you can. So as Google-based is security, no problems. Oh, no problems. There's always a problem. If someone wants to, he can get them. Okay, so for me, that's no.
But the problem is when someone switches you for $2 million. That's the problem.
Yeah, but if someone wants to, really gets to into your things, he can get them. Okay.
But then you have both system on premise that gets the functionality for the system, and then you control the privacy, and then we arise something that can be very damaged for the organization, the whole project, even the client can sue you and the whole team for doing that. And on the other side, it's on your premise, you control that, and that's it. And then this is a problem for the cloud. That's more or less the question is, we need AWS, Google, Microsoft to be more open. Like, for example, in the case of Viewpoint, that has the site which is the country, where it has the data, the cloud. Or for example, when you have a VPS or dedicated cloud, and you have there the BIM server, okay? And you need to know, but you can decide. But now, I guess it's something that happened with the software. You are the experts. I'm opening the question for Revit and ArchiCAD, as I do I did for Allplan in Project Wise, Bentley. The case of Bentley from Project Wise is paradigmatic. Is you decide which is the country that you want to comply with the privacy regulations. Europe is the top level of standards. United States is high. The rest of the way, I don't know. Maybe or not. Singapore for sure is high, but China, I don't know. Okay,
I think China, no one knows.
Yeah, but you know,
it's important. It's important. I mean, this is a very big issue regarding security. If you are starting talking about China, it's a very big problem, and we are facing now some issues with China because of that, because of US and everything.
But there is a large project there in Shenzhen, for example. There is a lot of BIM being used there right now, and then you can't avoid a large client, a large country that is, you know, a lot of to be done in privacy.
Yeah, but again, this is a very sensitive problem. Again, from Autodesk now, you know, like BIM 360, they only have like Europe and US, which is, you know, a massive change, because before they only have, you know, US, and US was not complying even with the European, you know, standards. And we couldn't use, you know, from our side, as our decision, use BIM 360 because of that, you know, because they were not complying with the minimum, the European minimum, you know, standards, let's call this way, because, you know, they were saying, this is what, you know, Autodesk was saying, like, oh yeah, but you know, Autodesk is super secure because you have like a password. I was like, seriously? So what you are saying is that with one password, you are saying that your system is secure? Come on, guys, just, you know, give me a break, because we know that it's not like that. You know, it's not complying with the minimum requirements. And again, when you are talking about China, this is a very super massive discussion that we have now in place because of that one, even with Autodesk, because they are facing that issue. They are still facing, you know, because they have this super massive firewall in place. You know, there's a lot of, you know, data which is controlled when getting in and coming out from there. And I mean, you know, and we are working with super massive clients from there. And this is an issue. It's becoming a super big issue. But again, as you were saying, we are not going to stop our project because of that.
And the watchers are saying that we have a problem here, and then we are raising this question, and then it's the discussion for the 2021.
I mean,
the state of the art. We are not discussing about performance, really.
And again, all of this. And all of this security thing came up like super more like, you know, knowledgeable and accessible to everyone because of this pandemic thing, you know. All this pandemic, you know, brought all this problem as a very super big, massive concern for the majority of everyone. But again, you know, for the main practices, this is like business as usual, you know, because this is something that they need to be aware of. And we all know that some of the big, you know, offices, they were hacked, you know, their own premises, you know, so they've been hacked, and they, you know, just remove all the files. And they said, you know what, if you want all this data back to you, you need to pay like super big, high amount of money, dollars, Bitcoins, whatever. So this is nothing. Now it's more visible because everyone is working from home. So all the system, I would say it's more open than ever. You know, like 2 years ago, it was a concern for some of us, but I would say for the majority, you know, like maybe no one was thinking that, you know, who wants my, you know, my contact, my mobile phone or whatever. No one wants. But if it's a super big project, yes, for sure, because it will affect and it will impact, you know, everything that you are working on.
It's a door for this.
Yeah, and you know, it's tricky because one of the biggest clients that I've worked with, he was a cloud provider. He is a cloud provider, one of the biggest ones. And he said, you know what? I don't want any of my information in the cloud, like nothing, which is weird because if they are cloud providers, you know, they know exactly what's happening out there. You know what I mean? So if they don't want that, that's why they are concerned with all this thing. And it's, you know, it's interesting when you start, come across with all these issues, because you can, yeah, you're right, because if you are providing internet, if you have all these systems all over the place, why you don't want that your information, super confidential information, why we cannot send it through, you know, like whatever internet system, cloud system that they have, and they are selling that as a product from their side, you know? So it's weird why they don't want to do that. So that's there's always a reason why.
Okay, okay. I'm scared right now.
I agree with your clients, because if your project is the base, is the security for all their clients. So if someone gets the base, okay, the base of your client can access to all the clients of your client.
No, no, it's not, you know, no, it's not that, Claudio. It's not that. We were doing like a store for them to sell, whatever their product. It's not like something that they will keep the data from their clients. It's to sell their products.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It's like a store.
It's a creepy guy.
You know what I mean? You know, so that's that. But the thing is, if someone knows that they will be doing that store in there for some reason, this will have a very huge impact in everything, because even the seller, you know, the guy which is renting or selling the building, they will increase the price 10, 20, 50 times more, you know, for the rent, for example, or selling the building. So for the business itself, this has like a massive impact. And again, it's funny, you know, it's funny when you have these things, you know, like, because from the security side, that's another thing. It's nothing related with the security of the data of someone, like doing a data center, you know, like designing a data center. That's another thing, you know. And I've worked in the past on a prison, you know, like doing the building itself, and no one knows, you know, the whole project as one single piece of architecture or whatever, you know, because there's a lot of, you know, doors all over the place for you to escape and do whatever. But that's another thing. That's security, another type of security. In that case, it was only a store, you know, like doing a store, like myself opening a store back in, you know, at the end of this road here.
Okay, we are so grateful for this awareness that our watchers are. It's important to be aware, but that is the highest level. We are now guaranteed that we are talking about everything and seeing all the issues, and that's quite important for the BIM market to trust on that. That's not the question. We have issues. We are solving the issues, and we are getting the point and going there. Let's go to the fourth block. That is the last block, and it's talking about the decision making in the IPD. The decision making is we have the information for to evaluate the performance, the real performance, the money that goes for the client, the 4D, the 5D, and the 7D. This is only a check. If you have inside some 4D, 5D, and 7D solution, is cost, time, cost, and energy analysis right now, not more sustainability. And if it's not inside, it's connected and interoperable, and this is there. It's only a check. It's not inside, but it's there and it's working. And which is the application, the environment that works well with your system. Or if you have inside, and other applications can come. Okay, and then go to the eco-efficiency, 4D, 5D, 7D, and start with Claudio. Yes. Claudio, tell me if you have inside 4D, 5D, 7D, or you have connections to other applications interoperable and it's working good.
Both.
Tell us more or less the architecture of the solution.
It's very, I will stop saying simple because it's annoying because it's very, okay, we have a time, but there's one thing that Graphisoft do is, if someone does something great, why I should do on Graphisoft or on ArchiCAD the same? So you just do like joint ventures and we work together, okay? Like Synchro or whatever.
Third parties, no?
Third parties, yes, and it works. It's like a big family that works very good. So for cost, for time, yes, on inside and outside. For cost, yes, you can do it inside of ArchiCAD. So 5D, it's available there. And also for energy analyzing, yes, we have Eco Designer, so we can make all the tests for energy evaluation within ArchiCAD.
Okay.
Yeah, with Autodesk, it's pretty much the same. I mean, you can do everything. You know, like you can do in Revit. You can do with Navisworks if you want to do like a more you know, like or a better if you want 4D and 5D. Yeah, for sure you can do, you know, like 5D as well in Revit. Yeah, the sustainability analysis or whatever, environmental analysis or energy analysis, yes, you can do it with Revit, or even though, you know, like submitting the file, as you know, with Insight. So there's a lot of, you know, ways of doing it, like using the internal softwares, or if you want, like exporting as a GB XML file and import anywhere, and then bring that data back in and use that, you know, to redesign something that you need to do it. You can read this parameters information straight from the BIM model, from Revit, from the materials. So there's a lot of ways that you can do all this, you know, like workflow all together and integrated.
Okay, and then we confirm, Claudio Decio, Claudio, that you can deliver eco-efficiency. That is the whole thing, is the time, the cost, and the sustainability of the solutions are evaluated, and then you see this solution has this performance or this output, and then the solution has that decide. Yep. It's for you, for the client to decide finally. No, you have the data, you have the cost. Everything is you know, converted to cost in reality. But you have that. You have this.
Exactly. And even on top of that one, if people want, you know, like, it depends the way that you want to get the data off from the BIM model. So let's say that people doesn't want to use Insight, for example, so for some reason, because they don't like it, they don't like the way that the outcome is coming, you know, the output, the dashboards, whatever. That's fine, you know, because then you can do your own API thing, you know, your own plugin. You can work on top of Revit. You can export all this data. You can manage all this data in your another, you know, system if you want. So there's always a way to export and get all this data from Revit, because Revit has this information in an open API system. So anyone with API knowledge, you know, like, can just get the data back to any piece of software if they want.
Okay, and then go to the final question that is, I guess, is something to also check. No, is the IPD. The question is open to IPD. The early design stage, both ArchiCAD and Revit are prepared. Your environment, your systems are prepared to deliver IPD.
Simple question, yes. Simple answer, yes. Just yes, and yes, you can deliver.
So trusted.
So trusted, yes.
Okay.
I can make a sentence more, but I will not, because it's just okay. I can deliver an IPD.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, I would say that the IPD, it's not a software issue, you know. So I think it's more workflows and people, you know, like, issue rather than the software. Because what is an IPD? IPD is a software. It's a contract. It's a contractual. That's it. You know,
a relationship. Yeah,
it's a relationship. It's nothing related with softwares. So, you know, like, you can. But then with the software itself, yes, you can do IPD. You can deliver an IPD project or not, because again, it's not related with the software. Software, it's like designing. You know what I mean? So all the platforms, everything, it's in there, it's out there, you can use it, you know, everything is available. I would say there's a few couple of things that it doesn't work 100%, you know, like, still, you know, it depends the way that you are putting the IPD together, to be honest with you, because then you can use, like, in a normal system, you can use VDI systems. So the environment itself, where you are working, it can vary. And this might, you know, bring some issues here and there, which I think in some of them I already worked in some of the, not some, Actually, it was only 2, you know, because it's still not there, I would say. But again, it's not, I would say the software will impact because there's some limitations here and there. And this is not related with Autodesk, it's related with the other softwares. It's not only from the Autodesk, because Autodesk doesn't control everything. But contractually, I think we are not there still. And I can, you know, I can give some examples. For example, in Portugal, you know, because I'm from there, and it's not possible if you are doing like a public, you know, a public project. It's
in
not
Europe,
in Europe. It's not. You know, I'm saying Portugal, but it's all over the place, because you are doing a competition, and you are saying, okay, we will be designing this, you know, like super massive building, but then you don't know who's going to be the contractor. There's no way. You don't know who's going to supply those equipments. So if you don't know, there's no way to do like an IPD project still.
Well, if you have a single purpose entity with everybody there,
but needs to be private.
It's an umbrella, and then you create umbrella, and then you don't need the
yes. But then we have like a private project. So if it's a private, I would say, yes, you will be working with Claudio and myself. I'm the contractor. Claudio will be the designer, and you will be the client, you know, and then we'll say, okay, let's do like an IPD contract, you know, like the deliverable. And then I would say, okay, so I will talk with Claudio, and I would say, Claudio, we need to win money with this one. And then we can kind of, you know, agree the way, because if we will be getting more money, it will be to both of us. If we are losing money, it will be for both of us. That's the main thing from the IPD project, because everything is under the same contract.
Incentive, yeah.
So exactly. So if it's but even the private ones, they used to do like competitions for the contractor, because, you know, so I think it's not a matter of software, you know, so that's why we're always doing the design build, you know, contract, which is much way easier. But again, you'll not have only one single umbrella. You'll have small ones, you know, like one for you, one for Claudio, one for me, one for the, you know, electrical, one for the whatever subcontractor and everything. And because it's easier, because then you need to be concerned only with your contract. You know, like, this is what I need to be concerned. This is there's an issue here. No, but this is outside. This is not under my scope. So it's not my problem. You know, like what I mean. So
and
I think
the point, if I understand, is you say, I guess is the question is, technology is there, the practices are there, we are prepared, we are ready for doing everything, and even manage the people, but you need to know IPD, and you need to know that is available for you, but it's the contract, the relationship.
Yes.
The rest,
yes.
We are your
technology wide. Yes.
Get the work to us, we manage the projects, that's it, no problem. Technology, etc. And that's a good point.
Yeah. And there's another issue I would say is, again, about relationships in between teams. One thing is the contract that covers the whole thing, you know, like everything is under the same contract, but then it's the trust in between teams. Like I need to trust in Claudio, and Claudio needs to trust in myself. So, you know, because everything will be shareable, you know, like I will have access to everything because we are under the same contract. And again, it's not a matter of technology, but it's a matter of, you know, like mindset, I would say.
You know, there is a lot of BIM series we create to explain what is how IPD works, how the early design stage, how we create value, and how we earn incentives, bonus for our work. And then we are interested because it's like the capitalist economy. We create something because we have benefits. We have something, we earn something for the effort we create. We have a risk, but we manage risks, and then we can win or we can lose if we don't do the job. And guys, then there is not a question of technology. We proved that here that Revit and ArchiCAD are systems that are prepared like the others to deliver IPD.
It's like the template. It's like the template. You have to know how to work with it.
Yeah.
It's the same.
And that's it. For instance, right now is the end of this event. We go next week to the great debate. The 4 platforms are there. And then we talk about different kind of thing, not really this kind of one-on-one where we compare one system with the other in more general. And we have there, we will have there the fourth, one of the best guys, best actors in the world to explain how the system works and ensure the market and the marketplace and all the people that are going to be in all the sector, all the industry, that this is working and this is not a problem of our work. We do the work and we are ready to go there. Thank you guys for this event. Thank you. And see you next week.
Thank you, Gustavo. Thank you, Claudio, for this good chat. And we'll see you next week.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers.
And
Bye.
the watchers, I suggest to subscribe to our BIM Freelance channel. Bye.